Can anger be a mask for other emotions? Why do so many men turn pain into anger? Do you want to equip yourself with techniques that could help you channel your emotions in a healthier way? Welcome to Session and Secrets.
Don't cry. Everything is going to be okay.
People that they can go trust, right?
I see that you're hurting. I'm here for you. I see that you're hurting. How can I support you through this?
Just shake it off. Keep going.
Ooh, I feel rejected because it's bringing me back a memory that I haven't processed, that I haven't healed from.
If there was a dog and it was growling at you, you wouldn't want to pet that dog, right? You're not going to want to be close to them. You want to create distance.
There's no excuse for a type of behavior that is not appropriate.
My guest today is Talissa Camacho. Welcome, Talissa.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you for the invite and having me here. So my name is Talissa Camacho-Sepulveda. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. I am the owner of Spicy Counseling Center, my private practice in San Diego, California, more specifically in Chula Vista, where I provide mental health services to adults, more specifically men who have deep pain and express it in a very intense anger or with very intense anger. Outside of my role as a therapist, I am a mom and I'm a fitness lover.
Okay. And Talissa, yes, today we're talking about that relationship between hurt, anger, and emotions. So why do so many people see anger as a problem?
So very good question. Anger is just the tip of the iceberg, right? So yes, a situation might be contributing to your anger, might be getting you upset, but really what's underneath it might be grief, frustration, trauma, it might be even rejection. So anger in itself is not the issue. The issue is that it is the only outlet to express any kind of emotion.
And why do you think that or that is like a safe emotion to express anger?
Because oftentimes, if we look into the societal norms, that's the only acceptable emotion for men to express it through anger. So with a little boy, what do we often say? Don't cry, everything is going to be okay. So we're teaching that boy that crying is unacceptable, as opposed to validating that emotion and saying, it's okay to cry. Yes, how can we support you with this? How can we work this together? So that from there, it's already invalidating that boy's emotions. Growing up as an adult, anger feels powerful, feels intimidating, and that feels good. And so, again, that's the only acceptable way to express any type of emotion.
Yes, and I think even as a child, right? Children don't learn to acknowledge the emotion, right? Or recognize it, or just know what to do with it, because exactly it's shut down right away. Right?
Yes. And it's very common. I know people don't do it maliciously or anything. It's just a common way. It's just what we're used to do. Don't cry because we're already saying something's wrong. And so we just don't want that little boy to cry.
Yes. Or in sports, right? Just shake it off. Keep going.
Exactly. Yes.
So how can someone how can a parent like yourself of young children start fostering that connection with emotions and understanding?
Good question. So the way family can support a man who has intense anger is through offering them that support and validating their emotions. I see that you're hurting. I'm here for you. I see that you're hurting. How can I support you through this? Something I always say, anger and that you're hurting and unhealed trauma is not an excuse for you to be rude to people, to yell at people. So we're not excusing the behavior. We're validating the emotion. And from there, we're offering support. So that's what families in general, that's what we can do to support other individuals that are going through intense anger.
Yes. And sometimes I think people misunderstand, right? Like validating the emotion doesn't mean that you're going to act on it, right? That you're going to say hurtful things or things that are going to hurt your partner or your children.
Exactly. Yes. Oftentimes we think, okay, I have to put up with this because they have unhealed trauma or they're going through this situation. The reality is that, and something I always tell my clients, we are no punching bags. Yes, you can be supportive. It doesn't mean that other person is going to cross those boundaries and limits.
Yes. And how can men like face pain?
How can they face it? Good question. So by not running away from their emotions, that's probably the first thing. Whatever that is, whether that's not running away from their emotions and then processing them. Not necessarily sitting with them, because sitting with them, okay, like, I'm sitting with my emotions. Now, what am I going to do? Right? But taking action into processing those emotions, those uncomfortable emotions. So whatever that is, it can be engaging in something, in some sort of physical activity, obviously going to therapy, even just starting by telling a friend.
Like calling someone to talk about it?
Yeah, and say, "Hey, I'm hurting. Can you listen to me? Can you just be there for me?" And what we can do is just be there for that person.
Yes, and I think that sometimes men lack that support, right? That's the
Mhm.
support from other
Yep.
friendships, right? Because they were not like socialized to develop those to develop a support system or a
Yeah.
network
Yeah.
of people that they can go trust, right? Because they have to keep up
This facade.
this facade
Uh-huh.
of
Yeah.
being strong and nothing, being
Yeah.
perfect or manly,
Mhm.
right? So
And I'm sorry, I was gonna add, and oftentimes what happens is that they isolate themselves from other people, from their support system, from their families, their friends, because they're not in a mental space of asking for help. So they really isolate themselves.
yeah, and what I've noticed in I mean, I've talked about it in other episodes. Like I have men's group,
Mhm.
and what I've noticed is that they suppress emotions, right? So
Yep.
they just pretend like nothing is bothering them, like nothing is, they just suck it up, and then suddenly something minor will like it'll be like a volcano of emotions coming out.
Exactly. And that's what we're saying, that anger is just the tip of the iceberg. Yes, the situation might be a contributing factor, but what's underneath that situation? Ooh, I feel rejected because it's bringing me back a memory that I haven't processed, that I haven't healed from. So that's oftentimes what it happens.
Yes, and that's what you mean by unprocessed trauma, right? Like things that maybe the emotion or the situation is like triggering or an emotion that
Mhm.
is familiar, right? Something that happened earlier in early childhood.
Yes, of course. And yeah, it's just an unconscious way of reacting to something that is familiar to us.
Yeah, like yeah, unconsciously. So it means like we don't think about it,
Mhm.
right? It's
Mhm.
like it becomes like the default response.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. And so, how do you help clients just pause and learn how to, because, if they're 30 years old, right? This has been going on for 30 years. If you're
Mhm.
40, it has been going on for 40 years. So, how do you help them just pause and have more understanding of what that's like, that process?
Yeah, of course. So it's a slow process, like you said. Something or somebody comes to me who is 30 years old, all they know is just express anger. Any type of emotion is expressed through anger, through being upset. So the example I often give to my clients is it's totally impossible for me to give you a tool at the first or second session, right? It's a very slow process. It's kind of like if I ask you to you're righty and you brush your teeth with your right hand, right? And all of a sudden I ask you, okay, now you're gonna do it with the left hand. So it's obviously gonna be a mess. You're not gonna be doing it correctly. And so it's the same with emotions or with behavior. So you've been doing this for such a long time that obviously it's gonna take you some time, but it's not impossible. It's gonna take you practice. So it's a slow but steady process. So we oftentimes start with grounding techniques. I encourage all of my clients to really engage in this technique where you just sit down. You just sit down for 30 seconds in your day and you just look at your surroundings, what's around you, and you start naming the items and even counting the items by color. So let's say, how many green items do I see? How many white items do I see? And that just resets the nervous system. And then along with that, obviously, well, not obviously, but physical techniques, moving your body on a daily basis, whatever that looks for you, whatever that is, if it's an intense workout, if it's walking, even if it's you have the opportunity, you have a job where you can move your body, you can walk a lot, that also counts. But moving your body, that also releases chemicals that are good for you.
And Talisa, so how do you help them like develop that routine and more like that commitment to yourself of like, okay, I'm
Mhm.
gonna do this and I'm gonna be intentional about it.
So that's where I come into play. So little by little, we start with grounding techniques. I leave an activity for the week. I assign them an activity for the week, and I talk about this in my Guide Furiously a piece where I combine the physical techniques with the emotional and the grounding techniques, and then there's a personal reflection, and we commit for clients that have difficulties getting organized and finding some time. So we leave the session with, okay, you're going to be doing it at this day, this time for 30 minutes, no distractions. And we set it up as an appointment so that the person gets used to it. It's like attending any other appointment with yourself. So that's how we do it. So little by little. And then as the time passes, then we can assign more activities or we can combine activities. So I guess there's not a straight answer. It really depends on the case and on the person. But the gist of it is that it starts little by little, and I'm there to support the person.
Yeah, I love that that you're addressing both the body and the mind, right? The
Uh
emotional,
huh.
the body and mind connection of the
Yeah.
emotions
Hmm.
and helping them make that connection. How do you think like just not being able to or even like the only emotion that you're showing is anger or how does that impact their families and relationships?
A lot,
Yeah.
a lot, yes. So I experienced it firsthand. That's why the main reason I specialize in working with men who have deep pain because I know how harmful it can be, how painful it can be for the entire family when when a man doesn't express emotions in a different way, and it's just anger, 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 and angry all the time. So it can impact definitely relationships, whether that is with your kids, with your partner, even with coworkers, with family, with friends. It impacts your health. It increases the risk for heart diseases, for high blood pressure, and in general, I mean, trauma. And I always recommend the book, "The Body Keeps Score," because it's a really detailed book as to how trauma impacts the body. So trauma, yes, it reflects in your body and in your mind every single day of your life.
Yes, and sometimes, I work with couples and help them with their intimacy, and sometimes, like I learned that, oh yeah, he comes home being angry and
Mhm.
moody, and so you partner wants to stay away. They don't want to come and get close, right? Like
Right.
I always tell them,
Mhm.
like, well, if there was a dog and it was growling at you, you wouldn't want to pet that dog, right? You're not going to want to be close to them. You want to create
Mhm.
distance,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's a good point.
So,
Uh-huh.
if you want to start, working in intimacy, then we have to have the appropriate environment
Mhm.
conducive to free play, connection, and so sometimes males don't connect that the dots that okay, yeah, it affects my emotional connection, my physical connection with my partner. And
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
it's important to get to learn how to manage these emotions. And I
Yes.
haven't been the only emotion that you're showing at home, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's something I point out to my clients in general. I do talk about again how is not there's no excuse for a type of behavior that is not appropriate. I do call it out on my clients. I'm very direct in my approach, and that's one of my things. Obviously, in the therapeutic way, but we already have that relationship established.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
trust.
yeah, the trust.
Yes. And how do you can you share any stories of success?
Oh yes, yes, I can. I'm very proud of this one client. We've been working about a year together. So just the gist of it is that he came to me with in desperation, really in desperation, because he wanted his family back, his wife, his kids. Intense history of complex trauma. So we've been doing the work for a year now, little by little. We start with the grounding techniques, physical techniques. He's so dedicated in really engaging in his workouts. He does it 3 to 4 times a week. He's there on a weekly basis with me, talking, processing trauma situations that have happened. So, and all he was able to express was through anger. That's it. Just anger,
Yeah.
just getting upset, yelling, not processing, not engaging in a conversation, problem solving, or anything like that. So he got to the point of, okay, I'm desperate. I want my family back. I want my wife, my kids. I want to be that father figure that I didn't have growing up. Like, okay, so what do we have to do to get to that point? Um, so fast forward to today, a year later, he's now able to pause and think, and I'm so proud of him because that's a lot. That's I c- I mean I cannot even express. That's very a lot. And so yeah, so now he's able to stop and think as opposed to jumping into an argument with, let's say, his partner, or with other people, with coworkers. This is funny. He talks about his coworkers all the time, and there's coworkers that annoy him. But I mean, he's fine. Like whereas before he will snap at his coworkers, and now he's fine. He just tells me, Talissa, this is what happened, but this is what I did. I'm like, that's great. Thank you. So he's come a long way. We've been mapping his emotions, again, physical techniques, grounding techniques, mapping his emotions. And now he's able to stop and think before he snaps.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like respond instead of react.
exactly.
And
Yes.
you mentioned something like self-care, right? Like exercising, doing
Yeah.
things for,
Mm-hmm.
that recharge your heart or your
Mm-hmm.
mind or and so and sometimes men lack that just that in them, like the importance of taking care of themselves.
Mm-hmm. Aside from taking care of himself, he uses it as an outlet to release all that tension and to release all that stress. Not necessarily anger, but that stress and that tension he has. So that's really his outlet.
Yeah, it's like to
Yeah.
release the cortisol and stress hormones.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yes. And what about is it do you think is it hard for men to understand like that's important to release it from their body?
Again, I don't think there's a straight answer to this. I think it really depends on the person, and just really the level of insight. You know, I mean, there's clients that are able to connect the dots very quickly. There are some other clients that need more therapeutic approaches or different therapeutic approaches and more or different interventions in order to connect the dots. We in therapy we call it the aha moment
Mhm.
of, oh yes, this happened because of this, or I'm feeling like this because of this. So I guess it really depends on the individual.
On the person.
Yes.
Yes. And
Hmm.
so what are some techniques that you think would be helpful for our listeners?
So techniques, like I said, the grounding technique I love and I recommend to all my clients is just 30 minutes, 30 seconds of your day. Just really looking at your surroundings. We live in a so fast-paced environment that we don't even notice what's around us. And it can be your living room, it can be your bedroom, and you will not even notice what it looks like, what items you have, what items have been there for the longest time. I'm actually looking at the items right now. And that in itself resets the nervous system. Another technique in a way very cliche of therapy, deep breathing techniques. 30 seconds in, 30 seconds out, 3 times, and that can also reset your nervous system and ground you. Something I always say, especially to parents, if you think you're escalating because of something your kid is doing, then take a break. Step out of the situation, close your eyes, and do some breathing activities so that you can come back and, and problem solve with your kids. So definitely something I recommend to my clients, to my male clients, and in general to all of my clients. Deep breathing techniques and the grounding techniques.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
it's I mean the people that do decide to work on this, it's like you're cutting off generational trauma, right? Like this, we're doing things different. It's going to end in this generation, right?
And that's totally my goal, to break a cycle and to instill that in my clients, that it is possible to live a life where you're no longer angry, or you can be angry, but you release it in a healthy way. Yeah, because and I want to reiterate on that. Anger is not bad. We do get angry, we do get upset, right? But the way we release it or the way we express it is what can be positive or negative, or we can make a difference in the way we release it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like there are no positive or negative emotions, right?
Hmm.
Emotions just, they're signals.
Yeah.
So all we have to do is learn from them,
Hmm.
right? And so listen to what are they telling us,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and then what do you find that anger is associated to what? To like maybe parenting styles or how it was modeled in their home growing up?
It's definitely coming from their upbringing. Yes, I usually do a deep dive into their childhood, the way they were raised, any values, beliefs. Obviously, I go and inquire about traumatic experiences. That definitely shapes the brain, the way you think and the way you feel it in your body. So I would say there's a combination of all of those factors that come into play. And again, just the societal norm that for men, anger is just the only acceptable way of expressing emotions. You feel empowered, you intimidate people, and that feels good.
Do you see anger or yeah, I guess anger, just how they show anger to correlate with like maybe anxiety or depression?
Absolutely. It's highly correlated with depression, I would say more so than anxiety. Anxiety, I mean, without going into details about the DSM-5, it's really anger is coming from a form of sadness, which obviously is a high symptom of depression, of severe depression. So yes, definitely correlated with other mental health diagnoses.
Yes. And so how do you address that with the client?
Again, it's a slow process. Whenever the relationship is established, I provide psychoeducation on the symptoms, and I tell him my point of view, or my perspective. Okay, it sounds like you're going through this. This might be a sign of a severe depression, or this might be a sign of PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder. This might be a sign of which is related to an anxiety disorder. This might be a sign of, I don't know, other other diagnoses. But I definitely call it out because that's what the clients are here for.
Yeah.
They need answers, and to the best of my ability, I give it to them.
Yes, because sometimes even family members will throw labels at them, right? Like, oh, you're bipolar or you're like narcissist.
Yes.
You're
Yes.
gaslighting me.
You're moody,
Yeah.
you're this, you're just an angry person.
Yes.
Yeah, you're bipolar. I get that a lot, actually. I'm glad you're pointing it out. Yeah. My family says I'm bipolar, or I'm moody. I'm like, okay, tell me more about it.
Mhm.
And the reality is that they have an unhealed trauma or just grief.
Yeah. And then there's shame in that, right? Because then, like we're adding more emotions, right? Because now there's something wrong with me.
Yeah. Yes. And I'm glad you're saying that, because I tell him, okay, there's nothing wrong with you. There's a lot going on. That's what's
Mhm.
happening with you. That there's just a lot going on. So
Yeah.
nothing
And
wrong with you. I
exactly.
reassure them.
Yes. And we're
Mhm.
human beings, right? We're not
Yeah.
machines.
Yeah. Right.
So if someone is recognizing themselves, right, like they're struggling with things, with some of the things we've been talking to,
Mhm.
what's the first step they can take towards healing?
First step, again, ask for help. Ask for help, whether that is going to a support person, family, friends, even a coworker. It can be that. Um, and whatever, I'm all about whatever helps you. You do you. If it's going to therapy, go to therapy. If it's physical activity, do physical activity. If it's emotional processing, okay, emotional processing, which again most likely is going to be guided with a therapist or by a therapist.
Okay. Well, thank you, Talissa, for all this, all this information.
Mhm.
And where can people find you if they want to know more about you?
Yes, people can find me at spicycounselingcenter.com. I'm on Instagram as Talissa Camacho LMFT, and my Gmail or my email, which is tcamacholmft@gmail.com.
Okay. Yes. Follow her on Instagram. She inspires me to go to the gym. Every time I'm like, I'm going to get up early to go I'm like, Talissa goes every day.
I'm a fitness lover. I love it. Yes.
And she's doing it. I'm going to go. So
Yes.
I'm developing a new hobby thanks to you, Talissa.
I'm glad to hear. Well, thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here with you, Luisa. And so, yeah, thank you again.
Anger isn't the enemy. It's a signal pointing at wounds that need care, attention, and healing. Thank you for joining us on Session and Secrets. Please make sure to like, subscribe, or leave a comment down below.